Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. I'm Saskia, aka Sassy Colouring, and I am here today with a video for you with some good art advice. This is just my opinion and some of the pieces of advice that I've been given throughout my last few years in the art kind of career sector, and hopefully I can pass it on to you and you might find something useful. I am going to try and speed through 10 different pieces of art advice that I have found useful, and hopefully you will too. My children are out of school in exactly 12 minutes, and when they come through the door, the peace and tranquility that I have had most of the day descends into utter chaos, and so trying to do a video is just a no-go area. I have a croaky voice from having the flu for the last 2 weeks, but let's ignore that and get into the nitty-gritty and the most important things, such as the page that I am colouring in the background of this video was originally for a collection called Sweet Treats that you will find on Etsy, but she didn't quite fit in the collection, so she doesn't have a home at the moment. So for all my wonderful viewers, if you are subscribed to my channel or would like to be, just click that subscribe button, then head over to Etsy and say, I am a subscriber. Give me the sweet treat. And I will send you this page for free and you can colour it and see what you think of it, and then, well, yeah, have a look. So this is mainly focused on drawing. If you want to draw or learn to draw or are on your drawing journey. Number one, I would say the best piece of advice I've ever been given is quite simply form before detail. So this is where you would do a really loose sketch to get ideas from. Sometimes you can have an idea in your head and then trying to put it on paper is really hard because you get stuck in concentrating on all the finer details without having an overall look at the picture sketched out onto the paper. So my idea with number one is that you concentrate, it's not my idea, you concentrate on form. Get all the aspects of the page down that you want to see, and then when you're happy with how the page looks in general, then go back and start adding in your details. Once you've done all your details, then go back and add the super fine details if you want it to be even more detailed. Art advice number two is to reference. Do not think that you have to know exactly how every piece of anatomy works on a human, on an animal. A cat is different to a dog, is different to a horse, is different to a fish. You can't know how to draw all of these things. So if you want to draw something, reference them. Just make sure that if you're referencing a direct copy, that you credit the artist or photographer or whatever it is that you take the illustration or image from. But when you're referencing, it's a really good tool to learn how to draw things, and eventually you'll have a big kind of build up of knowledge of how to draw different things, and then you can kind of work off that and you won't have to use so many references. But there is no shame and nothing wrong with a good reference picture. Number three would be, there's a difference between speed and rushing. Now a lot of artists draw at different speeds. Some may take 2 minutes and end up with a phenomenal sketch. Both my brothers are that type of person. They sit down and scribble on a piece of paper and voila, there's this amazing thing in front of you. Actually saying that, my brother's girlfriend Ali, she's exactly the same. Her artwork is outstanding. She's a tattooist. I will link her Instagram. Go have a look. She's phenomenal. I am not, however. I have to sit and kind of sketch and then draw and then maybe redraw, and then a few months later I look at it, don't like it, and have to redraw. Speed is not the same as rushing. If you rush a page, I can get it done in 10 minutes, but it's not good quality. Being fast at drawing and being good at drawing are also not the same thing. So don't rush your art, whether it be colouring, painting, drawing. Make sure you take the time that it needs and you require to give you a good result. Because sometimes when you rush something and you look back at it and you don't like it and you think, well, why don't I like this? It was such a good idea. Maybe have a think about the amount of time you spent on one, the concept, two, the form, as I said, get the form down and then go in with the detail. And then if you think that you've spent a good amount of time, then start looking at different aspects. But generally, if you've rushed it, then it's not going to be the quality that you as an artist, whether learning, beginning or professional, can produce. That ties me in quite nicely to point number 4, is that you should learn from genuine critique. If you like what you've done, awesome, fantastic. That is a great thing to do, to walk away from a page and think, I love it. If you don't like it, do it better. Ask somebody who is going to give you genuine critique, because there are a lot of people who will just say, I love it, great. You don't learn from that, even though it's really lovely, you don't learn from it. If somebody who is genuinely good at critiquing art comes in, there's loads of groups on Facebook that will do this for you, will say, have a look at this, have a look at that, look at the way you've done this, I would do it that way. And many times I've seen people kind of screenshot and overdraw so that they can show you how they would have done it, and you think, oh my goodness, yeah, of course, it looks so much better. Genuine critique is never a bad thing, because it's not somebody out to make you look bad or look silly or to put your art down. It's somebody who's generally trying to help you, or genuinely trying to help you progress as an artist. And those people are treasures. They are diamonds when you find good ones. So what about if you don't know how to draw anything? I've heard people say, I can't draw stickmen. Then draw the same thing every day. Number 5, which will appear also in a bad art advice video, so just listen to this point of view through. Number 5 is draw the exact same thing every day. Pick something easy, pick something small, a shell, a snail, I can't think of anything else. Anything, pick something small, not too detailed, and draw it. Draw it every day for a month, and by the end of the month, one, you know exactly what you're doing. As soon as you sit down, you want to draw that snail, it's in your head straight away. But also the difference between how confident you are with day 1 and day 31 is massive, and so you will see that in your work. The strokes are more confident, the art is better because you're so used to it. And then move on to something a bit more complicated. Learn how to draw the face of a dog or a horse or something like that, and draw that thing every day. You will soon become really adept at one, kind of learning how to draw something, and also how to improve that thing. My next piece of art advice is number 6, and that is not to niche yourself to one style too quickly, or to one medium. So when I started drawing, I got a pencil and a piece of paper, and then I would draw in pencil, I would overline it with a fine liner, and that's pretty much what I've done until I forced myself to go digital, which I really fought against. But now honestly, when I try to draw again on paper, I find myself trying to zoom in and double tap to erase lines. Don't niche yourself down to one style or medium, because it's great to master one style, but create in other mediums and try drawing in other styles. If you draw to traditional, try some manga, try some kawaii. If you only draw in chibi style, try some traditional art. I don't know if you can hear, but this is my pooch Pippin coming in to say hi. Hey Pippin. When you are excited about trying something new and trying something different, then that's when you get to create, and that's when you kind of enjoy creating. So if you're used to my channel, you'll see that I do a few different art subscription boxes, and the reason I do them is because I want to push myself out of like my comfort zone and do art challenges that come in the boxes each month, and I have to use ridiculous things like watercolors that I've never used before, and ink that I've never used before, and acrylic paints that I've never used before, because I was so happy and content with just paper and pen. So it really does kind of get your creativeness going. The seventh piece of good advice that I would like to give you is to practice with purpose. Now, this to me is a great tool, because sometimes you sit down and you think, I don't know what to draw. I have no idea. Find a kind of prompt sheet so that you're not just sitting down and doodling squiggles, because that's what I used to do. I'd sit down and I'd draw a flower 50 times, or I'd do like a squiggly line and then decorate a squiggly line. When you're practicing or even doodling, if you doodle with purpose, as in you don't have to be doing a masterful sketch every time, but if you have a kind of direction that you want to go in, then it helps you to just make sure that your practicing is not doing the same thing over and over again, because how many of us have that one thing we like to draw, and every time we sit down we draw that one thing. It'll kind of cut that out, give you that nice style of like doodle with no pressure, but also gives you a purpose for the end of it. My next piece of advice is to do with your confidence. I suffer from something that is called imposter syndrome, because it really is something that a lot of artists suffer from. You don't want to call yourself an artist, because I enjoy what I do. I sit down and I draw or doodle, and I enjoy what comes out and what I draw. And then when you start kind of making a bit of money off it, you feel like, I'm not sure that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not as good as everybody else. I'm not an artist. Look, if you can draw and sell your work, you are an artist. And whether people kind of agree with that or not everybody's always going to agree. Not everybody's going to like my work. I'm not going to like everybody else's work. That's the spice of life that we all should enjoy. But when you start to build your confidence and you feel like, do you know what, yeah, I do belong in the art community, I do belong on Instagram or YouTube or wherever you want to be showing your work, or in an art gallery, whatever, even if it's just showing your work to your family and friends, get over the imposter syndrome and give yourself the confidence that you deserve as a budding artist, as a beginner artist, or as a professional artist. Just make sure that you build your confidence to where you're happy with what you're doing. What everybody else does, that's up to them. It's nothing to do with you. Get yourself to a place where you're happy with you. Number 9 would be beware of burnout. Oh my goodness. I suffer from burnout after every single book that I produce, because I feel like I give myself a time frame that's not unobtainable, I can't speak, but I give myself this timetable and I try to stick to it, and then if I don't, I start kind of cramming to make sure that I can, and then by the end of every book I just suffer like a week or two where I can't draw a straight line. Not that a straight line is easy, that's actually quite hard, but I can't draw anything. You could ask me to draw a circle and I can't do it. Take time to give yourself some rest. If you are on a commission basis, or you are kind of in this really competitive, and oh my goodness, it is so competitive, the world of adult colouring, especially if you're drawing your own books and you're not kind of compiling them, which there's nothing wrong with that either, but if you're trying to draw all your own pages and you're trying to keep up with the people who do compile and other companies, like I'm going to say Jade Summer, not because I have anything against them, but because they whap out these books at such an amazing rate, because they have a number of different artists working for them, and people think that it's one person doing all this amazing art in so many styles, and they do compare you. And look, that is nothing against Jade Summer. Their books are phenomenal. I love their books. It's just you can't keep up with something like that if you're one person. So don't forget to watch out for that burnout. Take time to be inspired by books, by movies, by different artists. I love to watch Disney. I love Disney style animation. I love everything about it. I love the singing, the dancing, the pretty princesses in their dresses. And I watch loads of Disney movies or romance movies, sometimes kind of other movies, just to be inspired and give myself like a mental break in between drawing stuff. And I think that's why I love my Patreon so much, because it just means that I don't have a certain theme I have to follow. Every month I sit down and draw whatever I want. I don't know if you can hear in the background, there's a kid. We live next to a school and he's got like a lawnmower motorbike thing, but he loves it and he loves to rev that engine all the time. I don't think anybody's told him yet that it's really not cool. I may have to be the person that does that to him, but I also can't crush his spirits, so we'll just put up with the sound of a lawnmower moped being driven to within an inch of its life. Number 10. Again, great piece of advice. Failure is not defeat. If you draw, if you colour, there has been a time where you've started off something and you thought it was going well and it just didn't. Or you've started a page and you thought that this was not going great and it proved you right. You finished something and you thought, oh no, don't like that at all. I do that quite often. But that doesn't mean I'm defeated. It just means that page didn't go as I wanted to. That page could be a failure, a complete failure. I've done quite a few of them the last few weeks actually. Massive failures. But it's not defeat. It's only defeat if you stop going back and trying again. So if you have something you want to draw specifically, I hate hands. The only reason I'm defeated by hands is because I refuse to draw them. I have a kind of set, tricky way to do cartoon hands, but I hate them. They're just gangly little phalanges on the end of your arms. I don't like them, and I don't like feet. But the only reason I'm defeated by them is because I refuse to draw them. It's only defeat when you're not going to try again. I will continue to try with my hands and my feet, but I don't hold out much hope. So those are my pieces of good art advice. We're going to concentrate form before detail. We're going to use reference pages to get there. We're not going to rush. We're going to realize that there's a difference between speed and rushing. We're going to learn from genuine critique. We're going to draw the same thing every day if we want to learn how to draw something. But we're not going to niche ourselves down into a style. We're going to practice with perfect purpose. We're going to build our confidence. We're going to watch out for burnout. And we're going to realize that no failure is defeat unless we let it be. I am out of time because my sons are home. But I will just say, don't forget that if you want this colouring page, then go over to the Etsy shop, and don't forget, you just have to say that you've subscribed and you would like this sweet treat, and you know the reason behind that because she didn't get into her collection. Have a look at my Etsy shop, and if you like anything on there, click it, favorite it, so you can see when I post other different colouring pages. It'll kind of come up on your notifications, very much like YouTube. If you would like some exclusive Sassy colouring pages, then the best place to get them would be Patreon. As I said, I really do enjoy my Patreon because it's a community of people who I get to know a lot closer, and it is a place where I just let the creativity go. If I feel like drawing a person, I draw a person. If I feel like drawing a car, I draw a car. I don't ever really feel like drawing a car, but you know what I mean. I just draw what I want to, and it feels so awesome to have this group of people there who support everything. And I know they don't like every page every month, because you can't, can you? You can't just like everything all the time, but they are still so supportive of everything I draw, and for that, guys, I truly am thankful. But I am thankful for everybody who supports me, whether it be by buying my books, buying my pages, watching my videos, all that stuff really means a lot to me, and it does help tremendously with the imposter syndrome, because it makes me feel like what I'm doing is good for people, that you enjoy what I do. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching the speed draw behind. I used Copic Chow markers and Prismacolor pencils. I love the combination. I love the way that they work well together. I am really sorry if the quality of my mic is not very good, because I actually bought 2 different mics because the one that I was using broke, and neither of them seem to work very well. They don't give a really nice crisp sound. So I am continuing to search for the perfect mic for my videos. Until then, you're going to get this really tinny kind of sound, and I hope that's not too annoying to listen to. Well, I don't think it can be as annoying as my voice. So yeah, if you are not a subscriber, then please consider becoming one. If you click the notification bell, then hopefully every time I upload a new video, with the kids back in school now, that should become a more consistent upload. I'm not promising anything, because the last 2 weeks we were all off sick. Just the flu, by the way. Coughs, colds, sneezes, everything that stopped us from going everywhere, because people give us really dirty looks and thought we had the dreaded C19. We didn't, none of us did. But yeah, that's it from me until my next video. The next one I've got coming out very soon is bad art advice, and it's really interesting to note that some of the things that I've mentioned here today appear on both lists, because you can overdo them. So that's it from me. That's it from my advice for today. Stay healthy if you can. If not, stay safe. And as always, it's a goodbye from me and a stay sassy.